It's trivia time! The Paralympics started as a series of rehabilitation activities for what group of people? Veterans. In 1948, World War II soldiers returned home disabled, leading to the creation of the Games. Where were the first Paralympic Games held? Rome. The first Paralympic Games were held in 1960 in Rome, alongside the Olympic Games. What is wheelchair rugby nicknamed? Murder ball. Due to its aggressive and full-contact character, wheelchair rugby was originally called murder ball. Who will become the first city to host the Paralympic Games twice? Tokyo. Tokyo hosted the Paralympic Games once in 1964 and will become the first city to host twice as of 2021. What was Lakeshore Foundation originally called? Jefferson Tuberculosis Sanatorium. Lakeshore was originally a place to treat tuberculosis patients in the 1920s. How much does a rugby wheelchair cost? $2,000 to $3,000. A rugby wheelchair can cost anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 or more when customization is added. What was Birmingham's first adapted sports team? The Birmingham Chariots. This wheelchair basketball team was developed in the 1980s at Lakeshore Foundation. What does classification in wheelchair rugby mean? Level of physical function. The purpose of classification is to respect individual differences in physical function. How often does an elite wheelchair rugby player have to replace their wheelchair? "18 months. An elite wheelchair rugby player has to change their wheelchair every 18 months. What year did Lakeshore Foundation officially get its name? (1984). The Jefferson Tuberculosis Sanatorium officially changed its name to Lakeshore Foundation in 1984. What does the name Paralympic mean? Parallel with the Olympics. The word Paralympics means parallel with the Olympics. What does the 3 Agitos Paralympics logo mean? I move. Agitos means I move in Latin, and it symbolizes the athletic spirit in motion. Can athletes participate in both the Olympic and Paralympic Games? Yes. While it is rare, athletes can and have competed in both competitions. When did the first wheelchair rugby tournament take place? (1982). The University of North Dakota held the first international wheelchair rugby tournament in 1982. What country is the highest ranked for wheelchair rugby? Australia. Australia is currently in the lead, with the USA and Japan the current world champions in second and third. How many Paralympic athletes have come out of Lakeshore? (52). Lakeshore has produced 52 Paralympic athletes, capturing 30 Paralympic medals. How long has Lakeshore Foundation been an official training site for Paralympic athletes? (18 years). In 2003, Lakeshore Foundation officially became a Paralympic training site. Wheelchair rugby is a combination of how many sports? 3. This unique sport combines elements of basketball, handball, and ice hockey.
Hi, I'm Bob Lujano, Inclusion Specialist for NICPAD at Lakeshore Foundation in Birmingham, Alabama. I'm excited to introduce you our special guests for our pre-event show. Keith Jones is the co-founder of Crip Hop Nation, an international collection of artists with disabilities. They recently won a Sports Emmy for Outstanding Music Direction for Netflix's critically acclaimed Paralympic Games documentary, Rising Phoenix. Keith is an advocate, an artist, as well as the president and CEO of Soul Touching Experiences. His passion is to empower and educate people on inclusion and to tackle social justice issues. He is simply a leader. Today he's performing live from Lakeshore Foundation's Robert Spotswood's Innovation Lab, where we create and deliver video resources for people with disabilities all over the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Keith Jones.
Bop, bop, bop. Bobbity bop. Lakeshore. What's good? Let's get it. Celebration of champions. Let's go. Come on. See, if you want to know something catchy, you got to do it like this, y'all. Ready? Bop, 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 bop. Come on. Bop, bop, bop. Bobbity bop. Hey, put your hands together. Come on. Now check it out. They act like I own something just cause they keepin' in the constant motion. Dedicated to the action that's the positive in my Marketing promotion, you keep hoping that'll slip on the boat. Declaring, even in the wheelchair, the last best standing. Who the man with CP and whatnot? Trees tap the lungs, tell the heat to make the sun hot. The lyrical global conglomerate on the low, bruh. You a 5th degree Jedi, I'm the one that trained Yoda. Watch stealth soldier, these IEDs kneecap the paragraphs. For biometrics, devastate the subjects with the verbiage that's energetic. So, once again, they got to put you upon the game. The hip-hop master artisan. You ain't like you on the title bout, you ain't even worth sparring. Come on. Bop, 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 bop. Put your hands together, y'all. Are you champion or what? Yeah. Let's go. Bop. Come on. Bop, bop, bop. Check this. From Tanisha's to Molly's to Lee Kim's are versatile. I push line, bomb lines under the name Do Live. Just to tap on my pen touches the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Don't mistake the CP as far from the flinch. Do Live metaphors, the Titanic. Y'all speak cream puff. I speak diamond encrusted granite. See upset to keep you under pressure from time immemorial. Even for them, footprints all over you. Attached to the fast rate in the best case scenario. I rock the favelas, the barrios, and the ghettos. Mommies in the moccasins, ice skates, stilettos. Whoa, the crowd breaks in the pandemonium. Crowd breaks in the pandemonium. Say whoa under them. You think you're better than him? Not man. Come on. Bop, 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 bop. Come on, bop, 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 bop. Now y'all gonna be singing it for the rest of the day. What's up, Lakeshore? Let's get it. Now hold up. Real hip hop. And if you got your mask on, put your hands up. I don't, so I can rap. Let's go. All masked up, grooves select on chill, correct tool, let's begin to build. We just construct. Been self the way a mind state the fault that black man in this he this and that, keep the cat handy. Chicks be handsy, this is a rubber compatible. Hands free, vocal tai chi, stay center. Hit everything dead center. MR dot game changer. Auto control of the deep stroke, crafted boom back instead of each track. Keep repeat that. Perimeter security bridge, flame on, keep that right there with you. Yeah, I'm right there with your mama. I get your mama. So simple they can't breathe deep. Connect your energy. Please get you on that. Where the hell is Benny? The smell of synapses, reach combusted transition. So touching is a rush in these seriously. Oh, so smooth with it, so it's easy. Listen, so it's easy. Listen, it's him. F easy, so it's easy. Listen. Who better is it at metaphysics? Don't you verse to versing? In and on each sound wave, you surfing, and it be dope in any version. Bouncing at your own free will with no coercion. Just you deserving that, have deserving. That hit too quick, get to swerving. Y'all like wait, get what you deserving. You heard them, found them quite good. Shout to wife hood. Another thing they do is in the comments confusion. Wait a minute, that jazz. That jazz. Come on, Lakeshore, put your hands up. That jazz. That jazz. Champions, shout that jazz. That jazz. And this for you. Lean back. Lean back. Lean back. Lean back. That jazz. Shout to White Hood. We good, yo. Shout to the champions. Let's get it. Wait a minute, y'all. Let's salsa. Hello, my name is Keith Jones. I am one of the co-writers of Rising Phoenix and one of the artists, co-founders of Crip Hop Nation. I want to thank Lakeshore for inviting me to the celebration of champions. How we got connected was random. I met somebody who was connected to the organization, and they told me about sports and what Lakeshore Foundation was doing, the importance of what Lakeshore is doing with disability in sport, particularly with the Paralympics, It's showing our humanity. Yes, through athletics and through competition, but more importantly, how regardless of what your human condition is, you have the right to live the fullest life possible. You have the ability to chase every dream that you have in front of you, regardless of whether you have paralysis, cognitive disability, physical disability. You are able to chase your dream. That is the beauty of what Lakeshore is doing through sports and athletics. We're showing the next generation who comes up that regardless of what the world thinks of you, there is no limitation except what you set for yourself. So this, for the champions we are celebrating, you have seen the limits, laughed at them, and overcome them, and exceeded beyond all expectations. So we salute you, I salute you, congratulations.
And I'm gonna keep rolling with it instead of cutting, but that was good. That was 40 seconds early.
Oh, okay.
40 seconds left, so I guess with that, we can keep it short probably. Do we want to try one more while we're in this tape? If you don't mind, Keith, I'm going to count to 3 on my end, and on 3, you can go ahead and begin again.
Hell no, all right. Okay.
That's going to be the theme of the day. Just do everything 30 times. You know?
The 30 times, all right.
So 1.
Hello, my name is Keith Jones. I'm one of the co-writers of Rising Phoenix, also one of the co-founders of Hip Hop Nation. And I want to thank Lakeshore Foundation for inviting me here to the Celebration of Champions. How did I get involved with Lakeshore? It was a very interesting story, meeting someone, being stranded at the airport, and finding out that Lakeshore Foundation is where the Paralympians train. And the importance of sport dawned on me even more at that point. Because as a wanted-to-be athlete, as a child growing up, and being told that my disability would preclude me from playing the sport that I loved, if I had known that there was a Lakeshore back then I probably would have continued on that path. But for those champions who are here, you have succeeded in doing something that most have never been able to do, which is capture and chase and succeed at your dreams, regardless of your human condition or the status in your life. And what the beauty of what is going on with the Celebration of Champions is showing that humanity exists in many forms. And
Hi, I'm Bob Lujano, Inclusion Specialist for NICPAD at Lakeshore Foundation in Birmingham, Alabama. I'm excited to introduce you our special guests for our pre-event show. Keith Jones is the co-founder of Hip Hop Nation, an international collection of artists with disabilities. They recently won a Sports Emmy for Outstanding Music Direction for Netflix's critically acclaimed Paralympic Games documentary, Rising Phoenix. Keith is an advocate, an artist, as well as the president and CEO of Soul Touching Experiences. His passion is to empower and educate people on inclusion and to tackle social justice issues. He is simply a leader. Today he's performing live from Lakeshore Foundation's Robert Spotswood's Innovation Lab, where we create and deliver video resources for people with disabilities all over the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Keith Jones.
Bobbity bop, Lakeshore, what's good? Let's get it, Celebration of Champions. Let's go. Come on. See, if you want to know something catchy, you gotta do it like this, y'all. Ready? Bop, 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 bop. Come on, bop, 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 bobbity bop. Hey, put your hands together. Come on. Now check it out. They act like they own something just cause they keep it in the constant motion. Dedicated to the action, that's the positive in my Marketing promotion, you keep hoping that'll slip on the road. Declaring, even in the wheelchair, the last best standing. Who the man with CP and whatnot? Trees tap the lungs, cell the heat to make the sun hot. The lyrical global conglomerate on the low, bruh. You a fifth degree Jedi, I'm the one that trained Yoda. Watch stealth soldier, these IEDs kneecap the paragraphs. For biometrics, devastate the subjects with the verbiage that's energetic. So, once again, I got to put you upon the game, the hip-hop master artisan. You amp like you on the title bout, you ain't even worth sparring. Come on. Bop, 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 bop. Put your hands together, y'all. Are you champion or what? Yeah. Let's go. Bop. Come on. Bop, bop, bop. Check this. From Tanisha's to Molly's to me, Kim so versatile. I push line, bomb lines under the name Do Live. Just a tap on my pen touches the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Don't mistake the CP, it's far from the flinch. Do Live metaphors, the Titanic. Y'all speak cream puff. I see diamond encrusted granite. CF said to keep you under pressure from time immemorial. People for them. Footprints all over you. Attached to the fast lane in the best case scenario. I rock the favelas, the barrios, and the ghettos. Mommies in the moccasins, ice skates, or stilettos. Whoa. The crowd breaks in the pandemonium. Crowd breaks in the pandemonium. Say whoa under them. You think you're better than him? Not man. Come on. Bop, bop, bop. Bop, bop. Come on. Bop, bop, bop. Bop, bop. Now y'all gonna be singing it for the rest of the day. What's up, Lakeshore? Let's get it. Now hold up. Real hip hop. And if you got your mask on, put your hands up. I don't, so I can rap. Let's go. All masked up, grooves elect, don't chill, correct tool, let's begin to build the construct. Been self the way of mind, state the fault that black man in this he this and that, keep the cap handy. Chicks be handsy, this is rough compatible, hands free, vocal tai chi, stay center, hit everything dead center. MR dot game changer, auto control of the deep store, crafted boom back instead of each track, repeat that. Perimeter security bridge, flame on, keep that right there with you. Yeah, I'm right there with your mama, I get your mama, so simple they can't breathe deep. Connect your energy, please get you on that. Where the hell is Benny? The smell of synapses, reach combusted transition. So touching is a rush in these seriously. Oh, so smooth with it, so it's easy, listen. So it's easy, listen. It's him, F easy, so it's easy, listen. Who better is it at metaphysics? Don't you verse to versing, in and on each sound wave be surfing, and it be dope in any version. Bouncing on your own free will with no coercion. Just you deserving that, have deserving that hit too quick, get to swerving. Y'all like make get what you deserving, you heard them. Found them quite good, shout to wife hood. Another thing inducing the company's confusion. Wait a minute, that jazz. That jazz. Come on, Lakeshore, put your hands up. That jazz. That jazz. Champions, shout that jazz. That jazz. And this for you. Lean back. Lean back. Lean back. Lean back. That jazz. Shout to White Hood. We good, yo. Shout to the champions. Let's get it. Wait a minute, y'all. Let's salsa. Hello, my name is Keith Jones. I am one of the co-writers of Rising Phoenix and one of the artists, the co-founders of Crip Hop Nation. I want to thank Lakeshore for inviting me to the celebration of champions. How we got connected was random. I met somebody who was connected to the organization, and they told me about sports and what Lakeshore Foundation was doing, the importance of what Lakeshore is doing with disability in sport, particularly with the Paralympics, it's showing our humanity. Yes, through athletics and through competition, but more importantly, how regardless of what your human condition is, you have the right to live the fullest life possible. You have the ability to chase every dream that you have in front of you, regardless of whether you have paralysis, cognitive disability, physical disability. You are able to chase your dream. That is the beauty of what Lakeshore is doing through sports and athletics. We're showing the next generation who comes up that regardless of what the world thinks of you, there is no limitation except what you set for yourself. So this, for the champions we are celebrating, you have seen the limits, laughed at them, and overcome them, and exceeded beyond all expectations. So we salute you, I salute you, congratulations.
That was good. That was 40 seconds early.
Oh, okay.
40 seconds left. So I guess with that, we can keep it short probably. Do we want to try one more while we're in this tape? If you don't mind, Keith, I'm going to count to 3 on my end, and on 3, you can go ahead and begin again.
Hell no. All right. Okay.
That's going to be the theme of the day. Just do everything 30 times.
The 30 times, all right.
So 1.
Hello, my name is Keith Jones. I'm one of the co-writers of Rising Phoenix, also one of the co-founders of Hip Hop Nation. And I want to thank Lakeshore Foundation for inviting me here to the Celebration of Champions. How did I get involved with Lakeshore? It was a very interesting story, meeting someone, being stranded at the airport, and finding out that Lakeshore Foundation is where the Paralympians train. And the importance of sport dawned on me even more at that point. Because as a wanted-to-be athlete, as a child growing up, and being told that my disability would preclude me from playing the sport that I loved, if I had known that there was a Lakeshore back then I probably would have continued on that path. But for those champions who are here, you have succeeded in doing something that most have never been able to do, which is capture and chase and succeed at your dreams, regardless of your human condition or the status in your life. And what the beauty of what is going on with the Celebration of Champions is showing that humanity exists in many forms. And the beauty of it is that regardless of how you are seen by society, your drive and determination sets your reality. Your ability to take on challenges, face them, and overcome them is what makes you a champion. It's not the disability. The disability gives you the strength in order to face what society will throw at you. The disability gives you the ability to see things that most people don't have the ability to see. This is why it's so important that Lakeshore supports athletes and giving them the ability to train, to fail, to succeed, to fail, and succeed again. So with that, we send you off and we salute you for all the work that you've done, for all the challenges you faced, for all the hurdles, both in sports and in society. That is the beauty of what Lakeshore is giving the world today with the Celebration of Champions. I want to thank you all for your energy and your time, and I wish you nothing but the best going forward. Thank you.
I'm a rising phoenix.
Yeah.
I rise above you. I'm a rising phoenix.
Yeah.
I rise above
You know,
you.
that's how we do it, y'all. Check this. Now listen. On your mark, you set the pistol, pop 'em out the blocks. I hit the ground running, the lazy there to the cell. From the beat, we begin born to do it. That's why I be so smooth while I do it from the lead position. Watching how I keep moving. Using your lack of intuition, presume that my condition predicts limits. While they arrive, transform right before their eyes and into the sky. The ashes fall while the phoenix rise. Yeah. That's how we do it. You can do anything.
The first time I came to Lakeshore, I was 11 years old. I saw some kids playing wheelchair basketball, and one hit another, and he flipped, and I thought that was something I would love to do. I'm Rashad Bennett. I'm a two-time collegiate national champion in wheelchair basketball. When I first came in, I was a shy kid, but when I got here, I saw people who looked like me. There's a connection between people in wheelchairs. I don't have to explain my life every moment of every day. They get it. Wheelchair basketball is a really aggressive game. I play completely different than I am as a person. I think it brings out a level of intensity and aggression in people that you just don't see in everyday life. I remember being in my room at night as a kid, shooting in the air just so I can get my form correct. I was at Lakeshore on Saturdays for 8 to 10 hours, taking shots or playing one-on-one against players who were better than me so I could lead a team. Being able to have access to a facility that I didn't have to worry about a court being available or equipment being accessible or modified to the needs of a person in a wheelchair was something that greatly benefited me as a child. The donor dollars go beyond the buildings and the equipment that they pay for. They go to the community that we build here at Lakeshore. We find each other and we connect with each other here. I think that's the real impact of those dollars. The journey I've had from the age of 11 till now can be defined in one word: growth. I've grown a lot since I was 11, as an athlete and also as a person. I've learned a lot about myself and about my community. Being in a wheelchair was something I tried to put on the back burner of my personality, and now I embrace it. Having the opportunities I've had here has made me want to give back to my community when I get older. I like who I am. I'm a whole person, and Lakeshore helped me build that.
Story about Rashad, but really just one of many, many successful stories here at Lakeshore Foundation. Welcome to Lakeshore's Celebration of Champions event presented by Coca-Cola Bottling United. We'd like to thank our event sponsors, Alabama Power Foundation, Children's of Alabama, Balsh and Bingham, Hoare Construction, WVTM 13. I'm Mark McCall, and I am honored to be board chair at Lakeshore Foundation. We have an exciting and inspiring hour in front of us.
We certainly do, Mark, and thank you for your leadership as the chair of our board. And I am Jeff Underwood. I'm the president and the CEO of Lakeshore Foundation, and we are in for a treat today as we get to meet Paralympians John Register and Joe Delagrave and Jennifer Schubel, and an aspiring Paralympian as well. And finally, we're going to learn about the U.S. wheelchair rugby team and participate in their send-off to win gold in Tokyo.
We also want to thank our table sponsors and donors for their generous support. And we are so fortunate to have with us today from WVTM 13, Brittany Decker and Ian Wrights, who are going to be our MCs. So without further ado, let's kick this celebration off. Ian, Brittany.
Mark and Jeff,
Hey,
thank you so
great.
much for
Good to see
having
you.
us.
Thank you.
We just love the Lakeshore Foundation. The energy is vibrant in the room. We hope that you feel the same at home, and we are just so excited to be here at this event today.
It's going to be a really exciting afternoon, so we're excited to be a part of this and excited to celebrate champions of the past, present, and future. So let's get the event started.
Yeah, we are going to quickly introduce you to our keynote speaker, but before we do that, he's ready to go, but we just want to start with a few questions.
Yeah, so a couple of questions for you to think about this afternoon. First of all, have you ever had an event that you had to make a decision, maybe you felt the decision was impossible, something you may have struggled with just a bit, and after you committed to that decision, did you have second thoughts or questions if that decision was even possible?
Was there ever a circumstance or maybe something that happened that you didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel? I think we've all been there, but if you have, you're here at the right place today. If you haven't, maybe you need to think a little bit harder.
We have a great speaker for you this afternoon, and this is someone who is making a global impact. and his military career.
Yes, since his injury, he won the long jump silver medal that was in Sydney, Australia at the Paralympics. Advised 4 U.S. Secretaries of States and founded the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee's Paralympic Military Sport Program, which helped wounded, ill, and injured service members to use sport as a tool for their rehabilitation.
It's been incredible to talk with him earlier this morning and chat with him just a little bit about his journey. And he is here to help us hurdle our adversity by amputating fear and embracing the mindset to win medals in each of our lives.
Yes, so please welcome, a very warm welcome from Colorado Springs, Colorado, 2-time TEDx speaker, long jump silver medalist, and homemade waffle lover. He could sing, he has a lot of talents here. Let's welcome Mr. John Register.
Welcome.
Ian and Brittany, thank you so much for that warm introduction. What's going on, everybody out there? How are you doing? So I was at the 1996 Paralympic Games. I'm in the swim venue. Of course, I was a swimmer that time, and I'm toweling off. I'm getting out of the water. My wife is very pregnant with our daughter, Ashley. And as I'm toweling off, I'm looking over at closed circuit television. And on the television is the gentleman. He's on the long jump runway. He is an above the knee amputee like myself. And I'm intrigued because I never at this point in my life had seen a person with an artificial leg run leg over leg down the long jump runway. So he gets going and he's going and the whole crowds are cheering for him, clapping for him. He hits the takeoff board, leaps up into the air, and at the apex, the height of his flight, his artificial leg flies off. He lands here, artificial leg lands about 3 feet up in front of him. Whole crowd does a great Chicago Home Alone movie, Macaulay Culkin move. But that official, the long jumper turns back to the official and says, so where are you gonna measure my jump from right here where my artificial leg landed up there? And I said, oh my gosh, that is absolutely a brilliant attitude to have. And it shifted my perspective. Why was I in the swim venue when I'd been a 4-time track and field All-American, twice had been to the Olympic trials in 3 different events, but I was in this swim event. And sometimes we're doing something very great on one avenue, but we have much more that we can do on another track. And that's what I was learning in this moment. And that's what Lakeshore Foundation really does, because it changes people's perspective. I came into contact with this organization back in, oh my gosh, I think it was 2003 when I started working for the United States Olympic Committee. And in that moment, we were starting this Paralympic experience, this Paralympic Academy. And we took these young tykes over to the Athens Games in 2004. And it was amazing because a lot of times we see with the Olympic Games that just happened, we see individuals that actually can look to the basketball team, the men's and women's team, and see a line of sight all the way up there to see what greatness might look like. We can look at the women's soccer team and we can see a line of sight and a way for athletes to get there. But in Paralympic sport, it just doesn't exist in the United States like that. We have pockets, but we don't really have that aggregate, that continuum that allows athletes to just elevate and rise. So we're taking those athletes over there to see the Paralympic Games, kind of meet some of their heroes and see the top level. So on an advanced trip, I was trying to figure out, okay, where the elevators, where's the accessibility so we can make sure our team, that we had 3 individuals that were wheelchair users with us at that time. And so as we found all the routes and the proper places to go and the technology as well as getting people from point A to point B, the team comes, our 6 athletes and their parents, and we're going to our first event, the opening ceremony, and we wanted to go to the area where we found out where the escalator, the elevator was to go down, and 2 of our wheelchair users, they go the escalator, flip around backwards, and start going down the escalator. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never seen this before either. And I'm freaking out as the 2 go down, but they got it. It seemed like they're going. And then a 3rd one, this young girl, she comes and she flips around to try to do the same thing. Mom is screaming because that person had never done it before. So there's a skill set that was lost and that she was trying to advance really quickly. So we all stopped her and got her down the elevator safely. But over the course of that time period, what we did was we started transitioning her and seeing how she could actually learn that skill of using her chair and going down backwards on the escalator. You know what she said after that moment? She says, when she learned that skill and mom's kind of just crying, seeing that this thing's going on, I'm just like, I'm balls, tears as well, just thinking the growth. She says, I'm never taking another elevator in my life. That's the access. That's the freedom. We see a constant press for independence. And sometimes we lose that independence. When we lose it, when it kind of wanes from us, it's like losing oxygen out of our environments. It's really tough when we see these things that are happening. If you don't know what losing independence is like, say that you are in what we call temporarily able-bodied individual, and you don't know what it's like, just think back to when COVID first hit. Everybody lost their oxygen from their environment. What do I mean? When we lose oxygen out of our environment, we panic. And how do we panic during that time? We bought toilet paper. We were going crazy buying toilet, and we weren't just buying toilet paper, we were fighting over the toilet paper. We were going to fisticuffs. We were hoarding things. And on all the things that we said that we were going to come saying kumbaya with each other, that was gone as soon as we went into the local Sam's Club or local Walmart or whatever it was that we started to try to get those things for ourselves, the hand sanitizer and all that. And it was interesting because in the Global Sport Mentoring Program, which is a program run by our U.S. Department of State, I have the great fortune of working with about 5 different athletes and people that are building programs. They all started calling me. So people from Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Uganda, South Africa, and Tokyo were all calling me that have gone through this program with me. And they're saying, John, what is going on in the United States? It's like you're going crazy over there. Do you all need aid from us? And I said, wow, what a flip. That here they are, these countries that we're offering aid to all the time are now offering aid to us because we can't handle a pandemic that's going on that they have been through. Because of this resilience muscle that has to be built up on the inside of us. So when I look at this, that this is what people with disability experience all the time from those who want to take our independence. Lakeshore does not provide a great environment. Here's what Lakeshore provides, is the oxygen needed for people with disabilities to survive the environments that they must face in life. Face the environments of discrimination, facing the environment of life after sport, facing the environment of 71% unemployment still since the ADA 31 years ago was passed, facing the environment of ableism that most community, businesses, organizations that we come in contact with are run by people who don't have a disability. That's what we face. That's what Lakeshore does. Lakeshore brings the oxygen back into the environment. And I remember when I lost my oxygen out of my environment, it was just before I went down to those Paralympic Games in 1996, where I'm sitting in a gate waiting area in the Washington Dulles International Airport. I am, as I'm on this new Paralympic team, looking at 60 of my new Paralympic teammates that are out there, and I wasn't in my best moment because, 27 months earlier, I was trying to make an Olympic team. And my mindset was, I want to be on the Olympic team, not this Paralympic team. Because all I could see were people with disabilities. All I could see were those that were in wheelchairs, spinal cord injured. All I could see were those who were blind. All I could see were those who had CP, cerebral palsy, and amputees like myself. I said, what's the value? What's the benefit? Is this really all-American team that I'm supposed to be on? I mean, my crew was just competing in the Olympic Games. In fact, I'm sitting next to a gentleman. He's in a beautiful 3-piece Armani suit, got gator skin shoes on, pulling this Louis Vuitton bag, and he's talking so loud on his cell phone that I just want to reach out and touch him. But I keep my hands to myself. But I'm still in my stupor. What's the value? What's the benefit of being on this team? Well, the gate agent, she gets up to the lectern with herself and says, ladies and gentlemen, flight number 300 is now ready for passenger boarding. Will everyone who needs a little bit more time and assistance please get up and board the aircraft at this time? So 60 of my Paralympic teammates and I, we got up and started walking down the jetbirds, and I said, oh, benefit number 1. Now that's a perk. So I got on board the aircraft. I take the 17th row. I like the window seat, 17F. That's where I'm seated. And I begin to watch this amazing spectacle of all my team members coming on board the aircraft. Those who are spinal cord injured, they're using wheelchairs, aisle chairs to get to their seats. Those that are blind, they're using the backs of the person that's in front of them to get to their seat. Those who have cerebral palsy that can ambulate, they're using the backs of the chairs to balance to get to their seats. And then I see Tree. Now, Tree is on the wheelchair basketball team. He's a bilateral amputee, meaning both legs are missing below his knees, but Tree stands 6 feet 8 inches tall. And I get it, Tree can be a tree at 6'8", or a stump at 4'3", depending upon which legs he picks out of his closet in the morning time. So he's got those big stilt legs on, ducks underneath the exercise, sits down in seat 7C, pops his artificial legs off, hands them to the flight attendant, who then places those legs in the overhead bin. I got it. Benefit number 2. More leg room, more leg room. So he's down there, flight attendant says, Tree, can I help with anything else? Do you need more time and attention? Tree says, no ma'am, I'm good. And off she walks back to the red curtains to bring all the tabs on board, a temporarily able-bodied individual. You can join the club one day. And so she goes out to do that. Tree, now being 4'3", he jumps up into a seat. He takes those long basketball arms, hoists himself up to the overhead bin. He climbs in, lays prone next to those legs, closes the bin door. 17F. I catch eyes with Amy, my swim teammate. Amy puts her head down, turns beet red, twiddles her thumbs like they have done this 1,000 times before. So I'm on the edge of my seat. Who's going to sit at that 7th row? People, tabs are filing out back to back, side to side, sitting in different seats. And then we have our winner, Mr. Armani suit. Still pulling that Louis Vuitton bag, still talking loud on that cell phone, and he stops at that 7th row where his attaché will not fit underneath the seat back pocket in front of him, so he must go to the overhead bin where our friend Tree has been lying prone for the last 5 minutes. And when he goes to lift that latch, don't get ahead of me. He goes to lift that latch, boom, out Tree pops. Jump just like all you did. Armani does a Carl Lewis long jump from the 7th row all the way back to the 17th row where I'm at, slips on those gator skin shoes. I catch eyes back with Amy. Amy says, oh, that's pretty good, John. Last guy only made to row number 10. That's a new world record. And so Armani gets all his stuff and starts rolling back up there to the 7th row. Tree has his hand on his chin, his little nubby leg things across, and he says, I'm sorry, sir, this overhead bin space has been filled. So as I'm dying laughing, kind of just wiping the tears away, I've never seen anything like this before in my life, I began to think about who I was showing up as just 10 minutes earlier when I was in the gate waiting area, wanting to be on the Olympic team and not the Paralympic team. It looked like I was gonna have a lot more fun on the Paralympic team than I ever was gonna have on the Olympic team. And that was the 3rd lesson I was learning. That Tree was showing up as his full, authentic self, despite how I was showing up for him. How do we show up for one another? People with disabilities, we need to show up not only for ourselves, but also for everybody else that's supporting needs to be a part of that group to show up for one another. Lakeshore is showing up for people with disabilities by hosting this event. Lakeshore is showing up for people with disabilities by being an Olympic and a Paralympic training site. And more so, Lakeshore is showing up for people with disabilities by allowing people with disabilities to show up as their full, authentic self. But how do we do that? We need to understand how to show up as our full, authentic self in spite of this whole thing that we might have going on in our society right now. And so I understand this from this point, that you heard in the introduction that I was a world-class athlete prior to me winning a silver medal in the long jump in the Paralympic Games. So it was on May 17th at 5:29 in the afternoon on 1994 that I was one of those world's fastest hurdlers. Everything was off, it was going great. I was on the world-class athlete program team for the United States Army. I was also a combat Army veteran on my way to the Officer Candidate School, as I said. But also, the USA Track and Field News had just picked me to be one of the ones to watch for the 1996 games, which were gonna happen in Atlanta. I was on a trajectory, 8th fastest hurdler in the country, top 20 in the world. But on May 17th, 1994 at 5:30 p.m., I'd never run another hurdle in my life. I went across the hurdle, I landed awkwardly, I dislocated my left knee, severed the artery behind the kneecap, and 7 days later, because of complications, the surgery that just didn't work well enough to repair my artery, my left leg, I had it amputated right above the knee. So what do you do in those moments? What do you do when you're in that low moment? When the world is spinning down and you become a part of this disability community, where I was questioning every single thing and all these fears were popping up. Will my wife still stay with me? Will my son still value me as his father? Do I still have a job in the military? Can I support my family? I mean, my Olympic dreams are over. At about 8 o'clock in the morning, the day of the amputation, Dr. Randy Mullins, who was wearing a white lab coat, stethoscope around a neck, clipboard in his hand, he says, you know, John, I see you're struggling. You've done a 180-degree shift in your countenance. And he began to call my wife over, who was at the local hotel, trying to manage me, trying to manage herself, John Jr., and she just found out at 7 o'clock that morning that her being away from her job as a certified nurse's aide in Westminster, Arkansas, had just fired her for being gone too long taking care of me. And this saint of a woman comes over, and she takes them 45 minutes to get me out of the bed, into a wheelchair, wheeled out to an inaccessible playground where I'm parked there, and all these emotions are coming over me. I'm parked, forced to watch my wife and my son play on the swings, and I couldn't push myself out of that chair. It was the first time I felt devalued, dejected, disabled. And I lost it. I started crying uncontrollably. And my wife, Alice, she saw me struggling. She comes running over to me, and in between the tears, she said, "What is going on, babe?" And I started articulating to her everything that was going on in my head the night before. And then she said the words that stopped my downward spiral. "You know what, John? We're going to get through this together. It's just our new normal. It's just our new normal." And when she spoke those words, she really baselined my entire existence. And as I started wiping the tears away from my eyes and thinking about what she had just said, John Jr. jumps off the swing, hits the ground, comes running over those 5.5-year-old legs. "Hey, Mom, Dad, you see my big jump? Mom, Dad, you see my big jump?" And he jumped in between Alice and myself, and I realized that in those 20 yards from the swing sets to that chair, he had just validated me as his father. And he had just created his new normal. That's what I knew I had to do. I had to create that new normal and that new normal mindset. And so the definition is that, most people are sick and tired of the term, the new normal, but I'm still using it. Why? Because I recognize that new is not going back. New is not, I guess things will get back to normal. No, I can't wait till things get back to normal. No. New is a point of no prior point of reference. So why are we always trying to use something old to put into something new? It will never work. We have to have that same point of embarkation. And the normal is the everyday typical occurrence of a thought or an action. It's what are the rituals I have in place that lead to a rhythm, that elevate me to a rise, that create the results, the desired results I need in my life. So the new normal is not a destination at all. It's only a plateau by which we grow. So I started swimming for physical therapy. And 27 months later, I somehow fluked up, messed up, and actually made the Paralympic swim team. And I went to Atlanta as a Paralympic swimmer, met Amy Bruder, oh my gosh, the legend of Lakeshore. And so meet her, and this whole world is opening up to me. I see people on the long jump runway running and jumping artificial limbs. So I gotta get one of those, and if I can just keep my leg on, I know I can be that dude. So I have a leg made for running. I learned how to rerun, learned how to jump, how to sprint, and went to Sydney, Australia, and won the Paralympic silver medal in the long jump. If I can just get out of my pocket with all this trash that I got in there, see all the trash. In the long jump in Sydney, Australia. And so I only show this because this medal only represents a past performance. It doesn't represent a future state in which we're in. And we have to move, because if we're going to sustain the success, as Dr. Harry Edwards, the amazing sociologist, said, you need 3 things in place to do it. First, you need a dependable and developed pipeline of talent. So example, we're down here in Alabama. Where's your pipeline of talent come for your great football team? It comes from all across the United States, and even I would argue some of the world. So you have a dependable, developed pipeline of talent. You need a pervasive demand. That is, you need somebody that's gonna say, this talent actually needs to do something. So with the football team, right? School spirit drives revenue for the university. There is a need for that, and so it's pushed forward. And then finally, the last thing is the talent that does the institution that's being pressed upon to change actually want to change. And so we look at the football team, absolutely. We want the things to change. We want to sustain that success. Why then doesn't it happen for Paralympics? Why doesn't it happen for people with disabilities? And I'll let you ponder that question. We won't go into it right there, but there is a reason for it, and we need to come to grips with what that is and how we can be the pervasive demand and demand the change, or actually just take the change that we want to see in our lives. So know this: the enthusiasm for people with disabilities in sport and life after sport does not match the enthusiasm for Alabama football in America. So we have to push it. We have to do it. In the absence of the demand means I must create the demand. I just create the new normal mindset so that other people are able to catch the inspiration. the inspirational vision that they have. So Lakeshore is that inspiration. Why? Because in the inspiration, which we kind of have hated that term, but the term is now a catalyst for me. Inspiration is the catalyst to motivation. Motivation in turn causes actions. Actions lead us to transformational results, and those results, they re-inspire us or allow other people that are watching the process to catch the vision. So, why be the inspirational catalyst? So you can choose to take the elevator and not the escalator. So you can bring more oxygen into the environment. So you can embrace a new normal mindset. So that the next time you go to board an aircraft and you go to reach for the overhead bin, that you can just be careful, because you never know what life's overhead bin has in store for you. Go forth, inspire your world, and go Team USA in Tokyo. My name's John Register. Bye for now.
Coca-Cola United is proudly partnered with the Olympics and Paralympics globally. We also have a long-standing partnership with the Lakeshore Foundation and Team USA Wheelchair Rugby. The celebration of champions demonstrates a long-standing commitment to excellence and inclusion of all people. That is something that we at Coca-Cola United are extremely passionate about as well. We look forward to a continued partnership with Lakeshore Foundation, and go USA.
John had such an incredible story. I think a lot of lessons in there that we can all use in our own lives on a daily basis, and just really loved how he spoke about the support system and saying, his wife saying, we can do this together. We can get through it together.
And I love the imagery of oxygen and what Lakeshore does, and bringing that oxygen into the lives of so many people and into that environment. So such a powerful message to hear, and I really enjoyed listening to it.
To go into situations too, being your authentic self.
Yeah. We want to introduce you now to another individual this afternoon. This is Joe Delagrave, co-captain of the USAWR team. And Joe and the team, they traveled to Lakeshore throughout the year, and they trained right here in Birmingham.
Yeah, for sure. And he had to wait a year, of course, to go to Tokyo for the games because of COVID-19. But he is just so excited to be heading in that direction now. So want to share with you a little bit about Joe's story. And I recently caught up with him, too. We brought him into our WVTM 13 studios. Take a look.
My name is Joe Delagrave. I'm a Paralympic bronze medalist and play on the national team for wheelchair rugby. I also do keynote speaking. I'm a husband and father, and I want to lead my family and teammates to victory. I've been married to April for 14 years. We met in high school. Have 3 kids, Braxton, Braden, and Brindley. Braxton is our athlete. He's 9 and loves sports. Braden loves sports as well. He's 7, but he also has a beautiful mind where he likes to create things out of Legos. And then Brindley is 5, and she's the little princess of the family. She can be sassy sometimes, but she's also really, really sweet. Watching the kids grow up is a joy. We get to experience things for the first time. It's a lot of fun, and going on adventures with them. We love camping and be able to teach them morals and values that they can have the rest of their lives. It's a very important job, and April and I love doing it.
Don't be afraid to fall. There you go. Nice, hammer it.
I first started coming to Lakeshore when I got invited to try out for the national team in December of 2008. So I'd heard all about Lakeshore and all the national team athletes coming here and training, and how cool it was and how adaptive it was, and how it's a one-stop shop and super convenient, where you have the dorms and you just roll right up to the gym and be able to play. And so when I came to that first tryout, I was blown away. I mean, the field house is obviously beautiful, and the accessibility everywhere on campus, and then the dorms, and being able to just go down there, crash for the night, and then get back up to the gym. So that weekend in December of 2008 was something that changed my life, where I ended up making the training squad for the 2009 national team. And that started my journey on coming here 5-6 times a year for the last 13 years. Wheelchair rugby is the only full contact Paralympic sport out there. The physicality is what everyone sees right away. It's smashing into each other. They're like, these guys are in wheelchairs. Like, why are they smashing into each other trying to make each other more disabled. Like, it's kind of an oxymoron when you watch it right away, but then you realize, wow, this is strategic as well. Right away, the contact is what I loved, but then I realized it's like high-speed chess. There's a lot of different moving parts within the sport. Biggest thing in that it's fast-paced, and it takes a lot of brain power to make quick decisions and go with it. Throughout my career in wheelchair rugby on the national team, I see a lot of different successes. 13 times on the national team and 8 as a captain and some all tournament stuff and a lot of different medals. But I truly believe that we're defined by our failures. We're not defined by when we fail. We're defined by how we react to that failure. For me, in 2016, I ended up getting cut and not going to Rio. So to not go was devastating. I truly felt like it was just as hard going through that than it was breaking my neck. Getting cut obviously wasn't part of my plan, but it happened. And I could listen to those little voices in your head going, you're a failure, you're inadequate. Or I can go, you know what, I can't control what happened, but I can control how to respond. And so I chose to come back and try out in 2017, and I've been a captain ever since. It's really helped me turn around some of my priorities in life, and my first priorities as a husband and a father.
Say hi to mommy. We love you.
My second is as a leader of this team, and wheelchair rugby and the play comes next. USA Wheelchair Rugby is definitely a family, and it's really important for us to be able to really have conversations that are vulnerable off the court, so when we're on the court, we don't have to be all lovey-dovey with each other. We can just be like, hey, I need you to get here now. And talking about our feelings off the court has really led to deeper relationships in a family-like atmosphere. In 2008 at the Beijing Paralympics, USAWR won gold. And it's the last time that we've won gold in the Paralympics. Hopefully we're gonna change that in Tokyo 2021. The world of wheelchair rugby has changed over the years. The world has really gotten better at the sport. There's a lot of programs dumping money into their programs to make them better, into their athlete services to make them better, into their athletes so they can get above poverty wages. And that's something that's really, really important with being an elite Paralympic athlete in this decade, in 2021. And so Lakeshore kind of came along the side with that, and they've been able to help supplement some things, whether it's adding on services that athletes need, or thinking outside the box on how do we generate additional funds for the program. We need to be able to train, and we need to be able to supplement our nutrition, and we need to be able to buy things for our homes during COVID, that type of deal. And it's really been a group effort, and a lot more has to be done as well. And that takes funding. And in order to still be on the medal stand every single year in every single major tournament like we have been, it's gonna take additional money. I just wanna thank you guys for helping fund champions. We're celebrating champions. I just want you to know that you're not just funding equipment for these athletes. You're funding their goals and their dreams and their desires and their ambitions. They're finding this passion that's leading them to their purpose. You're helping fund confidence. You're helping fund people's inspiration for the next generation. You're helping fund a goal that maybe at one point they didn't even think was gonna be able to come true. Champions along the way usually fail, and you're helping fund them to get back up and react, reach their ultimate success, reach their ultimate goal, and become champions.
So we are so fortunate today to have the opportunity to speak further with Joe Delagrave today. Joe, thank you so much for being here with us.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Now, of course, being a Paralympic athlete takes so much time and training, and what keeps you going?
I think just finding out your role, role recognition, and where you fit in, what the guys need from you. And then when you're training by yourself at home, you already built those relationships up, and it creates instant accountability. Like, I go to the gym, not only because I want to be better and I want to be the best I can be when it comes to Tokyo, it's hey, I don't want to let my teammates down. I don't want to let my coaches down or staff that are training or preparing or working their butts off to be able to be on top of the podium. And so you have that instant accountability. So I think that's something that's really helped as well. And then on the other end of things is I want to make my wife and my kids happy and proud of what I'm doing. And so making sure that I'm staying dedicated and diligent to my work is important as well. So I got those built-in accountability pieces with my wife, my 3 kids as well.
Now, Joe, what does it actually take to make the team?
Making a team requires an intense commitment to your physical body, your mental health, being able to be focused and ready in a really cool way. So I think number one, it takes a lot of physical work. Obviously, it takes work in your rugby chair and in the weight room and making sure your diet's right. So like that nutrition aspect as well, making sure your diet's right, making sure you're dialed in and at a weight that is appropriate for you. And then probably third, like it takes you being a good teammate. We have a culture here at USAWR that's important, and being a good teammate matters. How you treat people matters. Do you fit into the culture? And so I think those 3 components are a big aspect and 3 things that are really helping make the team.
Okay, now, Joe, we have an audience question for you.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Chandler, gold medalist from the 1976 Olympic team in springboard diving and member of the 1980 Olympic team that did not go because of the boycott. I'm wondering, given the ever-changing messages from the media, we're going, we're not going, how did that affect you mentally during your training?
It's been a roller coaster, this quad. Obviously, normal quad's 4 years, and then last year, 2020, and you're thinking like, there's no way they're going to cancel the Olympics and Paralympics. There's no way. And then they're going like, oh, maybe they are. And then for us, we've been just super focused on they're going to happen. And if they don't, that's outside of our control. So we're just going to focus on they are going to happen. And we're just excited for our chance to go and shine and finally get on that stage that we've been preparing so hard for this quad 5 years. But for a lot of us, it's been a long time coming. And for me personally, it's been a long time coming, 9 years since I went to London in 2012. So I'm just excited. We've stayed focused and on the tasks that we can control. It's such a cliche, but cliches are a cliche for a reason, I think. And we're focusing on what we can control.
So how did your kids react to the news that you made the team?
So it was really neat how we did it this year, and to be able to have an announcement show where our family was FaceTimed in, Zoom. I think we're on Zoom, zoomed in, and they got to see us be announced. And so getting to see them be all excited. I had my kids and my nephew and niece in the room, along with my wife and her sister and brother-in-law and grandparents. It's like there's a whole room, and they're all decked out in their USA gear and cheering me on. So it was really, really special to do. I know when I came home after flying home and making the team and seeing them, at the airport and back home, and they're just excited for me, excited to be able to call their dad a Paralympian and someone that plays for Team USA. And so it's super cool for me. And for me, I wear number 14, and the kids all wear number 14 for their sporting teams, which is super fun too. So it's been a blast.
I love that. Just a special moment for all of you. Now, Joe, do you have a good dad joke?
What did the DJ name his son?
I don't know. Not bad. That wasn't bad. We're really proud of you. We're really excited, you, Joe. Thank you so much for being with us here today. We're so looking forward to you representing USA Wheelchair Rugby in Tokyo. We'll be cheering you on.
Thank you so much.
You know you laughed at that dad joke.
That was good. That was a good one. I liked it. There were a lot of people laughing in here.
I know. I love talking to him so much. I loved hearing about his family and his dedication to his sport. So thank you so much for stopping by, or at least joining us in our WVTM 13 studios. I want to direct your attention right now to all of our incredible donations. We appreciate you so much, everything that you're doing to contribute to this day, and a big board here of donations. Want to point out right off the top here, Allison Stevens, over $32,000, wow. And guess what, too? Matching $25,000.
That's incredible. And this money goes to this foundation, the Lakeshore Foundation, making a huge difference. So you can see the total there, just over $116,000. But those donations keep coming in. Want to shout out a couple other people. Nick Milan, $30,500 raise. Also, Jeff Underwood, a $5,000 donation.
Don't be intimidated, though. Truly, any small amount counts and is going to be put to good use. And we see a lot of names here popping up, so keep those names scrolling. W.D. Foster, thank you so much for your donation. Kelly Sides, Sandra Harness, thank you so much for taking the time to donate today.
We have another great conversation to share with you this afternoon, and Lakeshore has a number of different sports programs, including those for youth. So let's listen into some courtside chat with Paralympian Mary Allison Cook and her fellow Lakeshore wheelchair basketball teammates, including an aspiring Paralympian.
My name is Mary Allison Cook. I'm a two-time Paralympian in the sport of women's wheelchair basketball, and today I'm here with two of my really good friends. Savannah Gardner, a national champion at the University of Alabama from the women's wheelchair basketball program. I'm also joined with Jen Jackson. She is an athlete here at Lakeshore on our youth wheelchair basketball team, the Lakers, and she is an aspiring collegiate women's wheelchair basketball player and Paralympian. And today I'm really excited for us to all talk about what we love, sport. So I started playing sports when I was really young. I was like 4 years old. And because I had access to sport as a young kid, I just assumed that I could be really good at sport and there was a place for me in the sports landscape. I didn't know about the Paralympics until probably 1996, the Atlanta Games. Savannah, do you remember when you first learned about adapted sport and Paralympic sport?
Yeah, so I have always been super competitive and wanted to compete in sports from a very young age, and that just wasn't really in the cards. I tried a couple of different things, but when I was 12, we found out about Lakeshore Foundation and the programs that we have here. Through basketball and track and field events, I was able to meet different Paralympians and just kind of find out what adaptive sport was all about and then what different levels of competitiveness there is that's available.
Paralympic sport, it's a community, and we have the opportunity to have role models that we can actually interact with on a personal level. So Jen, you learned about wheelchair basketball at a camp at Lakeshore, right?
Yes.
Yes, and do you remember that camp?
Jaws camp, we were doing basketball. That was one of the activities we did.
What was different about Lakeshore?
Things that we can do compared to able people, like wheelchair basketball.
I think what's really cool about us being able to come here and play is that we get a level playing field.
Sport can be really empowering, right? I think we all have felt empowered as women with disabilities. And do you remember where you felt that power?
Playing.
Playing? You felt power when you played?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that saying.
Pushing fast.
Pushing fast.
And it's very disappointing if someone's faster than you. Makes you want to push more.
I can attest to that. Jen gets very upset if she thinks someone is faster than her, even though they very rarely, if ever, are.
This is a competition. So we've all played sports. We've all played wheelchair basketball. I've played with both of you. And I always think back to what was my funniest memory?
Probably my sophomore year of high school, because I still had my braces.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
And I got fouled. I believe it was the ref passing me the ball on my free throw, but I was not paying attention, and he passed and it went right through my hands, busted my face, and then there was blood running down my mouth from my braces, and then I had to get it all cleaned up and then go back out and shoot my free throws.
What about you, Jen?
This year, when I was doing track meet, I went for the X and the man was standing there when somebody's supposed to be telling me to stay in the lane and wait for everybody else to finish. Instead, I took off.
You just went plowing through?
And ran over him in your track chair?
Yeah, but at least it went through between his legs.
Did he fall?
Well, a little tumbled.
At least he didn't fall on you, I hope not.
And he was old.
Oh, goodness.
Like
Poor guy.
50 or 60.
Oh, 50 or 60?
Yes.
Goodness.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about basketball in the future after you don't have to see my face every Tuesday and Thursday?
I want to be a Paralympic athlete because I want to compete with the best. I'm always trying to beat my new record.
And I think for every athlete too, what makes an athlete a good athlete is the fact that we're playing with a team, yes, but you're always competing to beat yourself.
And I think too, like a lot of times, I know for me, I feel this extra pressure on myself to like always have to be the best because I have a disability. The expectations that society has placed upon me because I'm disabled and I have a disability is automatic of like, you are of less value. Because I have felt like that as a person with a disability, I feel like I have to overcompensate by always being the best. And our value does not lie in how many points we score on the board. Like, we are worthy before we step on the court. Thank you, Savannah. Thank you, Jen, for having this conversation. I had a really good time today. I don't know about y'all, but I'm hungry. So I think we should go get something to eat. Let's go eat.
A great conversation, ladies. Thank you so much for sharing that. And now just don't forget that your donations are going to such a great place, helping future champions to achieve their goals and their dreams by supporting access to parasport. A lot of donations rolling in. You see that big jump here, over $143,000, that $25,000 match now in play, and a lot of names popping up here on the screen.
Yeah, love seeing the names and love seeing some of the messages, the well wishes for folks who are going to be heading overseas to represent Team USA as well. Want to continue the conversations this afternoon, and you may recognize Jennifer Schubel, a local Paralympic athlete who is one of the most decorated Paralympic medalists in cycling. 5 medals in all that she has won, competing in Beijing, London, and the Rio Games.
Yeah, she's a military veteran and works at Mercedes and Vance and lives right here in Homewood. Take a look.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Schubel. I'm a Paralympic cyclist for Team USA. I'm wearing a red shirt, I have blonde hair, and I have blue hazel eyes. I started riding bikes when I was in preschool. I have an older brother and an older sister that had me riding bikes without training wheels back and forth to elementary school. In 2007, I went to the U.S. Paralympic trials. I didn't even know if I was going to qualify, and I made Team USA.
Jennifer Schubel is up.
I'm classified in the Paralympics because of my traumatic brain injury and my multiple sclerosis. Lakeshore is definitely one of the best kept secrets in Birmingham.
The Lakeshore Foundation gives an opportunity to adults and children that have dreams of being able to be a Paralympian. It gives them a place to work out, a place to train, and skills to get them to the higher level.
The workouts I've learned at Lakeshore Foundation have helped me with my stability and my coordination and my balance, which has helped me ride my bike and my everyday life.
Go Jen, you're doing great!
I have to balance my workouts and racing my bikes around my full-time job in the car industry. I'd say I have 2 jobs with wheels. I have a 4-wheel job and I have a 2-wheel job. All my vacation days, holidays are all racing my bike. So you had to figure out how to prioritize time on what is the most important thing to do, because you can't do it all. Yeah, my most important thing is my bulldog.
Hey, buddy. You sharing me either?
I've won gold in the 500 meters in Beijing, and I won silver in the pursuit in Beijing, and silver in the road time trial in Beijing. In London, I won a silver in the 500, and I won bronze in the team sprint. So those are my 5 medals. There's a lot of pressure to perform and to medal, and you know, you're finally like, oh man, I finally did it and I'm done. All the hard work shows that you're like, wow, okay, it all finally came down to this and I did it. I'm not going to the Tokyo Games. I'm okay that I was not selected, but I'm still able to continue to race my bike and will enjoy what the future holds. My biking is keeping my MS in check. It helps me with my fatigue management. It's a stress relief, and I just enjoy it. And you're in nature, you're seeing things, experiencing your surroundings, like being on a motorcycle, riding your bike, you're out there in the wind, feeling it going through your hair, and you know, when it rains on you.
Time on the screen, there will be no adjustment.
Well, I'm an advocate for people with invisible disabilities. I was the second traumatic brain injury person, and I was definitely the first individual with MS that was on the cycling team. So I've kind of led a path in making people aware, and now we've got so many more athletes that are on the team that have invisible disabilities.
So Jennifer Schubel, who resides in Birmingham in the United States of America.
Being an athlete to me means that I'm constantly challenging myself, learning how to be a stronger person, and it helps me in my daily life because it gives me focus and also setting goals. It helps me in my work life, my personal life. It makes you stronger physically, mentally. Individuals with invisible and physical disabilities need to find a sport and try to stay active. Not every sport's the same for someone. Just try every sport. It's fun.
And we are just hearing so many incredible stories today. It's great to get that personal view, and of course we appreciate you joining us here too. And for your donations today, all going to a great cause. We have a big number here, $143,000. We see lots of names coming through.
Yeah, you can see a number of some of the top fundraisers. Allison Stevens, we mentioned earlier, with over $57,000. Nick Ballon, $30,000. Jeff Underwood, $7,000. Mac Beal, $5,000. So thank you. Those donations mean so much and go to so many programs.
You see a lot of names scrolling across the sides too. Send those nice messages. It's always great to hear those messages as we send off some athletes to Tokyo.
Speaking of Tokyo, yeah, so we've got the U.S. men's U.S. wheelchair rugby team that trains right here at Lakeshore. They were out there just a few moments ago.
Yes, they were. A lot of cool to have them here at a facility right here in our backyards.
Yeah, so we're going to be joining in a virtual send-off for the team as they get ready to travel to Tokyo. And again, they're going to be going for gold representing Team USA.
Joe Delagrave, Holman, Wisconsin, 2.0.
Chuck Aoki, Minneapolis, Minnesota, 3.0.
Jeff Butler, Austin, Texas, 0.5.
Chad Cohn, Tucson, Arizona, 1.0.
Lee Fredette, East Merges, New York, 1.0.
Ray Henniger, Pepper, New Jersey, 3.5.
Joe Jackson, Maricopa, Arizona, 1.0.
Chuck Melton, Richview, Illinois, 2.0.
Eric Newby, Nashville, Illinois, Class 2.0.
Corey Peterbach, Boise, Idaho, 3.0.
Adam Scaturo, Lakewood, Colorado, 1.5.
Josh Wheeler, Tucson, Arizona, 2.5.
Hello everyone, this is Sarah Hirschland coming to you from Tokyo, Japan this evening. Thank you for giving me just a minute to be part of this incredible celebration.
Go USA!
As an Olympic and Paralympic training site, we are so proud to be great partners with Lakeshore. The impact the organization has made on so many Olympic and Paralympic lives over time is just exceptional, and we are grateful to each and every one of you for the role you've played.
Go Corey! Go Team USA! Dance!
As you send off the U.S. wheelchair rugby team, let me say a special thank you to all of you for your work, your dedication, your preparation, your commitment to the Olympic and Paralympic movement overall, and the way you live our values so beautifully. I can tell you things from Tokyo are pretty darn good. We're ready for you and can't wait to see you over here and watch you shine as you have done so many times in the past.
Wait, Daddy. Kisses.
I'll look forward to seeing you guys soon, and to everyone else, go Team USA and let's cheer them on.
Definitely going to be cheering them on, and just a great virtual send-off as they get ready to head off to Tokyo.
Yeah, for sure. But a send-off is not complete without the team's hype video, and you are the first ones to check it out.
There's no feeling quite like coming out of the tunnel.
Deafening, so loud you can't hear.
Everybody in position. It's just the opening tip.
The whistle blows, then everything else just falls away.
And I know that I'm ready to go.
You really feel alive in kind of a weird way when someone knocks you over and you're spinning across the court.
Why I keep coming back?
My brother's right here.
Getting to wear red, white, and blue.
The desire to be the best.
USA! USA!
That'll get you excited to watch some wheelchair rugby, right?
Yeah, I can't wait. Hopefully the energy is up wherever you are. We know it is here at the Lakeshore Foundation. Joining us here now, some special guests, Paralympian Mary Allison Cook and Lakeshore Development Director Leon Ryan. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you guys for being here.
And thank you both for joining us. I am so pumped and ready for the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. And I hope that you will tune in and watch all the action beginning August 24th. You can follow Lakeshore Foundation and USA Wheelchair Rugby social channels to get a behind-the-scenes look at the action in Tokyo. Like Brittany just said, my name is Mary Allison Cook. I'm a two-time Paralympian and a Paralympic gold medalist in the sport of women's wheelchair basketball. And I'm also the Associate Communications Director here at Lakeshore. And today we have gotten to meet a lot of really cool people and hear their stories. And there's one thing about each person in their life and story that they shared today. And it was this pivotal moment. It was the moment when they found adapted and parasport. It was the moment for many when they found Lakeshore. It was the moment when they felt represented and included and empowered to do really big things. And I can totally relate because I had that same moment in my life. But for me, my story is a little bit different because I didn't have to wait for my moment. You see, I played my very first wheelchair basketball game before I learned how to tie my shoes. By the time I was 10, I had posters signed by my Paralympic idols hanging on my bedroom walls. I had the access and authority to realize my full potential and dream about who I could be and what I could do before I was able to realize and recognize and internalize the ableism that I and all people with disabilities experience. So my journey to the Paralympics and who I am today, as a wife and a mom and a professional, it never seemed that extraordinary or heroic or superhuman. It was because I didn't have to wait. And yes, I had to put in a lot of hard work to get to the Paralympics and to earn a gold medal. And along that way, I faced discrimination as a person with a disability. But my potential was always there. Sport was always there. Lakeshore Foundation was there to provide me the motivation and the resources that I needed to achieve my really big goals. And now here's the thing, like the most important thing. I should not be an outlier. We all have the collective power to eliminate the wait time of all people with disabilities, to realize and tap into their full potential, whether they are born into or age into disability. We all have that collective power, whether we are disabled or not. And that is why Lakeshore is so important. That is why you need to give.
Thank you, Mary Allison. It's an incredible honor to work alongside with Mary Allison every day here at Lakeshore. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for your support. Mary Allison mentioned wait. If you haven't given yet, what are you waiting for? simply click the donate button on your screen or go to celebrationofchampions.swell.give. Be a part of something special. Be a part of Team USA wheelchair rugby, going to Tokyo and bringing home the gold medal. Be a part of inspiring the next generation of para-athletes to represent our country. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you for your support, and go Team USA.